Trick Ron, thank you for answering the last question. Will we get a thermos with the Rainbow the Brute lunchbox? Yes, there is going to be a thermos with the Rainbow the Brute lunchbox. The reason why the lunchbox hasn't been designed yet is because I don't have the artwork for the lunchbox yet. I've got storytelling artwork. I got a couple of covers that I don't think are going to look good on a lunchbox. What I want for the lunchbox is I want the entire cast of Rainbow the Brute charging at the camera, right? I don't have that yet, and I'm not going to do it yet. I want to tell the story first, and it might be the last thing that I end up doing, unless it just so happens that there's a piece of artwork that happens within the story that would be more appropriate for the lunchbox front. But it has to be like a really exciting burst of an image for the front of the lunchbox. That's why the lunchbox it doesn't, it'll be fine. It's not gonna shouldn't interfere with anything.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of D&V Investigations, where we have a little less deep and a whole lot of balls. And hi. Yeah, I know it's Tuesday, not Monday. Well, the taking my time got good to me for those 2 days. It really, really did. Yeah, it was nice, man. 2 days of real food. Yeah, that's an issue. I have a problem with that. And the weather was beautiful. I got outside. I got to do shit. I didn't have to spend all of my time cramming for one live stream, which I'd been doing for like four years. So, yeah, lunchbox, the lunchbox. The one that he doesn't have designs for yet. Because his lazy ass might use interior art. He might as well just reuse art from the interior of the book. He's only had 5 years to draw the designs for the lunchbox. He's only had 5 years to start putting that lunchbox into some sort of production. But no, he's going to wait till he's done with the book. And if he thinks he has something from the book that's appropriate, but there probably won't be, because it's got to be a specific kind of thing. And it probably won't be in the interior. So he's going to have to draw it anyway. And he's going to wait till the end of the book so we can start production on the quote lunchbox. It's actually a briefcase. How big is this thermos going to be, by the way? Is it going to be like one of those big, old-fashioned thermoses like you'd see in commercials with the guys pouring their coffee? Is it going to be that big of a thermos? Because it's a briefcase. It's supposed to hold the books, not liquid. Like, how does this all work? It's so fucking weird. But yeah. Wait, so now you've got months of production for the stupid lunchbox that he's known for 5 years he was going to have to do. So you can kiss off a whole nother year before you get your Rainbow the Brute. That book, nobody, nobody ain't ever getting that book, man. Hello, Snugs. Hello, Mike McMahon. I hope you're feeling well this evening or morning. I think it's morning. Yeah. Hello, Michael Shanks. Bat on my face. How are you? And greetings, Colonel Morg. It's always nice when the fake producer is in the house. And it has been something of a week, right? We had the shutdown. This is all exciting. Yeah, the Democrats insisting on all the cuts from the big, beautiful bill, which is the dumbest name ever, are put back so that we can turn the government back on. Trump saying, all right, well, while we're at it, there's all these bits and parts of agencies that don't actually do much of anything. And, they're really not necessary to the running of the government in general. So why don't we just shut those down? hardball, I guess. And then Mark Sanchez. Oh, there's an interesting one for you. Good old Mark Sanchez. It was like, I guess he was an all right quarterback. I was never a huge fan, right? But he's supposed to go call a Raiders game. And how does he get out of having to call a fucking Raiders game? He gets drunk off his ass and attacks like a 68-year-old Uber driver. Yeah. This little old man, he's Mason. Mark Sanchez doesn't work. Mark Sanchez is still coming at him. So he whips out a knife and he manages to stab Mark Sanchez pretty critically. Apparently, he had to go right into surgery and may have even been touch and go. And now Mark Sanchez has been arrested for felony assault charges. Man. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to call a Raiders game either, but that's just crazy. Craziness. Yeah. Mark Sanchez. It's just so good. Oh, yeah. And I bet you all didn't know Kickstarter went on strike. It's not in the thumbnail, but I added it to the stream because I thought you might be interested in what it is they're demanding. I think they've been on strike now for 6 days, possibly 7. No, I took the screenshot yesterday, so it would be 6 days because my screenshot says 5. I apologize for that, but I didn't feel like digging back in and getting another one after I'd already made it all pretty for the stream. So, yeah. Then we have Ethan malding some more over Eric July. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Only this time it ties into some stuff that's actually, impactful on Comicsgate. And it's another instance of Ethan crying wolf in the most beautiful way. And I'm going to show you how he does it, right? And so, yeah, let's go ahead. And I'm actually going to start with the Ethan Klein stuff, just a small update. So, yeah, I logged into Pacer. Frogan has a problem. Frogan has a pretty big problem. And Frogan's problem is that her deadline to respond to the complaint was on October the 3rd. Now, it is October the 7th. Yeah, my dates are a little messy because I've been off for a couple days of work. But yes, it is now October the 7th. I did double check Pacer before I went on stream. And no, it has not posted. And yes, it cost me another 30 cents. But I did it. I did it for you people. And actually, the way Pacer works, I may not get charged if I can stay off of it for another month. I'll be good. But yeah, so they came up with this deal. First, she kind of evaded service. Then she gets served. Then her attorney works out a deal with Ethan Klein's attorney, and they filed for a joint stipulation to extend Frogan's deadline. And she got the latest deadline she possibly could from the court. And that was on the 3rd. So she's kind of screwed. And unless, I guess, Ethan Klein's lawyer could be nice. Maybe they're working something out behind the scenes. I don't know. But at least for now, on paper with the court, she's kind of messed up. Now, I don't know if you all remember. Yeah, this is a screenshot from my stream last week when I talked about the filing by the Reddit mods to not have any of their information subpoenaed for the lawsuit that Ethan Klein has going with Denims. Now, part of what I read to you guys was this. Many of my fellow moderators have endured a deep psychological impact and fear of retaliation, to the point that Reddit admins offered us free subscriptions to privacy software that would help remove our PII from the internet in the case we were doxxed and harassed by the outcome of these lawsuits. Now, the spoilation abounds, which I think I forgot to mention, but I meant to mention last week. But it got even better this week, because it turns out that this guy, Roman P., he's the one whose affidavit or declaration, actually, that was where he talks about the Reddit admins being all nice and comforting to all of the snark mods over on the H3H3 snark Reddit. This guy, White Dynamite, says, did you know you're mentioned in the lawsuit? Just clicked on the first one, skimmed around, and saw Roman P mentioned. And Roman P says, oh my God, thank you for telling me. This is the funniest shit ever. LMAO, I can't believe this. So then he posts about it. I'm named as a co-conspirator in both lawsuits. Actually, it's all three. I am Doe number 2, the head moderator of the H3 Snark mods. Y'all don't even know how dumb and ridiculous this BS lawsuit is. And then he screenshots his name in the lawsuits. I don't know whether I should talk about this or not. LMAO. Then this other guy, Flat Development, asks him, concern level for you? This whole thing is just so odd. And Roman P., who was the head moderator of H3 Snark, says, not concerned at all, balancing work at Reddit and being the head moderator for H3 Snark has been kind of stressful, though. Yes. Roman P., in all of his stupid glory, just opened Reddit up to being named in Ethan Klein's lawsuit. So, this could be huge. Like, this could kill Reddit, possibly. I saw this. I got this from Legal Mindset. I saw it on his stream, pulled the screenshots from Kiwi Farms. I'm just being pretty open about where I heard this. But I just thought it was really interesting that was actually the part that I read last week. And I had thought about how I didn't even think about it. I didn't talk about it on the stream, but like, I think about all this shit when I'm putting it together, and then it doesn't all come out of my mouth, because the last time I tried to take notes, it was just a complete and total disaster. So I just wing it. And every time I finish a stream, there's like 2 or 3 things I meant to mention. And this was one of them, that it appeared that Reddit could have been in some trouble. And it turns out that they really are in some trouble. So I'm going to move on to the first part of the Ethan July stream. I broke it up into 2 different sections just because it was him EFAPing 2 different videos. It's a 3.5 hour stream, and he EFAPs 2 Eric July videos. And God, it's awful. But I did try to make it a little bit more interesting, and I will have things to say along the way.
Evening chat. Hi, Comicsgate, says G-Docs. We got a lot to go over. Eric's crew celebrating the Indiegogo new terms of service, so we got to look at that. Digital Ninja says every CG King better be building a site like 9 Lives. Well, yeah, I think we got to do that anyway. I got to say,
First off, I have to say, I love how the people in the chat are so totally into this relationship that they think that they're having, that they feel they can just demand things and it's going to happen because they said so. And yeah, he did dye his beard again. He was probably on, like, maybe he went on somebody else's stream, because that tends to be when it happens. Whenever he goes on a larger streamer's stream, he dyes his beard. He thinks it makes it. Oh, he had a birthday. That explains it. He had a birthday.
So it's funny. We've got Eric July, who's like, we got heel versus babyface. It's like, oh no, it looks like there's going to be some trouble for some of you out there, bro. Now.
And a quick reminder, the stalling in the video is not me. It is Ethan, because he can't take care of his equipment issues going into like month 3.
We got that going on. We got NDA Andrew even sitting there celebrating the fact that like this might hurt Comicsgate, or at least me. And you know, I can't remember a time. It's been so long since there wasn't an ongoing active attempt to cancel me from something. It's been so long. I don't even remember what it's like really to be left alone.
He's just under duress from all corners all the time. It's amazing. Like, most people forget that he exists, and the only fights he ends up having are all the ones he starts himself. Right? So he's attacked in retaliation for his lashing out.
Mostly what I remember since 2016 voting for Trump has been nothing but watching organized pockets of retards try to destroy my life, and sometimes successfully. And I've looked.
Nobody cares that he voted for Trump. Nobody. Except Ethan. It's like he feels guilty about it, man. Nobody cares. Nobody in the mainstream really cared. He was just an asshole about it.
At their new terms of service, and they look a little woke. I don't know if they're going to affect us, but it does look a little bit like they use the phrase protected groups when it comes to people. You can't have a project that might make fun of quote unquote protected groups, protected like they're endangered species. That does worry me a little bit, that kind of a thing. But in any case, all of these circumstances and all of these situations.
Snuggie, I believe it is a furry Care Bear hat, I think. He thought it was cute, and then, yeah, the shirt he stole from DSP.
Push you to get up off your duff and actually create something new, something better, something more secure. And obviously, we're going to have to do that either way. Shane Davis has led the way on that. I've had people working on platforms for me to use for the longest time.
The longest time. For the longest time. He has 2 websites, I think. One, maybe one directs to the other. I know he has allcaps.com, all caps comics, I believe. There's the Amphibionics, and then he has CG Master Racers, which is pretty much just a placeholder coming soon. I guess he expects to have like a huge influx of people looking for CG Master Racers. You still can't buy anything. He has no point of sale on any of his websites. His website, I think, just still points to his eBay store. Yeah, it's a hinky setup. Yanzi did his website. It's better than it used to be. The Amphibionics thing used to be like this horrible old, like practically old frames. I don't know if you guys remember frames. Oh God, but his old website was so bad. And at least it's better, but it's still a hot mess of just garbage scrolling past.
All right, my friends, let's get real now. Let's watch the truth about Ripaverse.
The day that I began to collaborate with my social
I
media
wish I
team.
could.
I
CJ
brought
Metz,
Carol
I wish I
on
could.
as well.
Hold on.
When I started this company, there were two big things
Yeah.
that I wanted to address. Number one,
when Ethan got his new computer, he got the noisiest keyboard he could find and then slid it right underneath his microphone.
I had a general issue with the comic book industry as far as the mainstream content was concerned. I went from being a person that talked about it all the time to a person that created. It was a lifestyle change. It was...
Well, you created, what did you create? It was a lifestyle change. You created a comic book company called the Rippaverse, which you named after yourself and is you. It's all about you. Right? And then you hired a bunch of people to work at your comic book company.
And that's because they were attached to mega corporations. So it had a way of masking the stank. But I didn't, none of that made sense as I did more research. Just the production
research.
models. None of it made sense to me. So I said, I'm going to give it
What
a
do you
shot.
do research? How do you do research on what people are being paid?
Blow up the way that it did because it did.
How do you do research? Now, how do you go about finding out things about a business you want to start up? Oh, like, I don't know. You'd need to find out how much a warehouse would cost, how much office space would cost, how much it would cost you to hire attorneys, how much it would cost you to hire writers and artists and editors and people to work in your warehouse. And you'd have to look into things like insurance and healthcare. You know, all the things people have to learn to open a fucking business, Ethan. Unlike you, they didn't just start an LLC and start using Indie fucking Go-Go and pray that the kid has enough free time to shove shit into boxes for me. Like, how could you possibly research how much it would cost you to hire an artist? Oh, I don't know. Maybe start with Google. Maybe talk with some people that you know that make comic books, who are writers or artists, and find out how much these things would cost you to have done. Research, Ethan. The rest of the world does it. It's how big YouTubers can make turns so that their content doesn't crash, unlike yours. It's how they know how to put together a print file, which you didn't. It's how they know how to hire a printer, which you didn't either. See, that was handed to you by Dynamite. Everybody else had to figure it out for themselves with research.
We all, maybe you don't all, but a lot of us that talk about culture understand the importance of it.
Yeah.
It's very important.
The importance of culture?
Neglected things.
Oh, here's where Ethan really lets like his inner asshole bigot come out. I'm just warning you in advance. See if you catch it all. I mean, I edited it so you would, but you'll see it.
You're gonna have to be more specific. The importance of your culture? No, not your culture. Your culture's a problem in this country. You mean popular culture? You're gonna have to be more specific than that too. When you say the importance of culture, I don't even know. You're like saying the importance of society. So it's like, well, it's a very vague statement. I think you mean the importance of pop culture, specifically entertainment, fluffy like this, the comics, movies, video games. I think you're saying that's important. Man, I don't want you to make entertainment, Eric. You know, I don't want most conservatives to make entertainment, to be honest with you. At least people who are coming at it from your perspective. I don't want anybody to make art who is thinking, we got to do this to control the culture, guys. We got to take a hold of the culture.
Do we have to continually remind Ethan of his own words at the beginning of Comicsgate? That this was about taking back the culture? Comicsgate, in Ethan's word, is a conservative pack. And it's about taking back the culture. Unless you're trying to make an argument that isn't even being made in the video. That's the crazy shit here. Every argument Ethan's making here isn't even something July was talking about. He does these EFAPs and he doesn't actually watch the content beforehand, right? He has no idea what it is. He's just watched maybe a couple of clips. And so he interrupts it. And he thinks he wants to get out what he has to say, which is in rebuttal to something that hasn't even been said yet. He's like pre-rebutting shit. This is how Ethan moves through these EFAPs in his live streams, right? And once you see it, you can't stop seeing it. But he preemptively strikes with his narrative. And it's almost good. Like he's almost good at it. But he's lazy because he doesn't watch the content first. So he ends up rebutting shit that isn't even an issue.
Anybody who's coming at creating art from that angle, I don't want them to be involved. I don't want leftists. I don't want conservatives doing it. And by the
Unless I'm putting Bill Clinton in my Cyberfrog book.
way, you're talking about how apolitical
Or Trump on the cover.
You are. What on earth are you even talking about? Most of the stuff that you're putting out are black girl bosses and lesbian girl bosses, black thugs masquerading as superheroes who are fighting to be respected. Eric, what are you talking about, man? I just don't want it. I want artists making art. I do. I want all activists. See, the problem with it is that there are activists in the culture. They're all on the left, and they do recognize that. Yeah, like it's important that we stick a lesbian kiss in this Jurassic Park cartoon, and then defend. And by the way, all of our gay characters are super nice, successful, and clean. None of them have AIDS. None of the lesbians are in domestically abusive relationships. Abusive domestic relationships. None of them are, unusually. They're just, hot teenage chicks. They're, beautiful lipstick lesbians. They're not big, fat, disgusting, abusive pigs that smell bad. They're hot chicks. I don't want those people making art either. I don't want them using the culture to normalize, a homosexuality for Christian kids. I don't want that to happen. But on the other hand, I really don't. What is it that you want to say exactly? I don't really want VeggieTales either. I really don't want Christian conservatives making propaganda either. I just don't. It's not art. Everybody's trying to insert their worldview into quote unquote the culture.
But the economic right needed.
Okay. How many fucking years have we heard the exact opposite out of Ethan's mouth? Oh, art should be for art. Well, give some fucking art out, dude. Like, publish some fucking art. Why are people still waiting on your art while all you do is bark about politics and Eric July? Like, you haven't even put out any art to put politics into. What the fuck, bruh? All you've done is offer up your product has been politics and bashing Eric July. No, it's not in your art, but it's your product. And people buy your quote art. I mean, they have to wait forever for your books, but they buy your books to support you because they're supporting your lame ass political opinions. It's just not in between the pages of your book. And there's no real politics and political messaging coming through from anything I've read from the Rippaverse. I mean, you can't get away from some political something when you're living in a political, when they're living in that particular political system and they have superheroes that are being employed by the government and their characters. So sure, there's going to be some, but it's not, there's no fucking black girl boss. And what was that? None of their gay characters have AIDS. Now, fuck you. Fuck you, you bigot. None of them are dirty and have AIDS, is actually what he said. Man, what a fucking asshole. I was alive back then. I was a teenager back then. You know how many friends I lost to that disease? And none of them were dirty. What a fucking prick.
Needs safe haven economically. It doesn't really have any. In pretty much every industry, if your employer...
So that's why you're cheering on the new terms of service of Indiegogo, right?
That was a complete and total shiny in the corner right there. Because this is what Eric July was actually talking about. And you can go watch his video. I recommend you go watch his video and get his opinion, because I actually disagreed with him on a couple of things. And I'm going to get to that now. What Eric July was talking about was creating a company that was a safe haven for people with different political ideas who could all work in the same place because their business, the place of business, the spot they spend their days in isn't about your fucking politics. That was what Eric was trying to get across. That was it. He wasn't talking about his books. He wasn't talking about his characters that Ethan had to roll out his little ranty, you shouldn't make anything narrative into. He was literally discussing building a company that the company itself was apolitical. Like, that's not... It wasn't confusing. I understood what Eric was saying. And the thing I did disagree with him about was he had said for conservatives, which I'm like, yeah, but I think if you're going to make a place where people should feel comfortable having different politics from anybody else, you kind of got to go ahead and accept everybody. Now, some people you're not going to take just because they're assholes. And sometimes their political views reflect the fact that they're just assholes, like Ethan here. It's just because he's an asshole. And those people you won't want working for you. You want the chill motherfuckers, the ones that can sit there and say, hey, we're going to agree to disagree on that particular topic for today. Let's go have another beer.
It goes bigger than me, which is why it is kind of interesting that there are those that look at myself and they're like, man, I don't like him for various reasons. There are people that are after they fix their minds to
Liam did. Okay,
believe
good.
that I'm a person that I am not. They needed a boogeyman, so they got one, and whatever position that they need me to have, they will justify saying whatever they want about
It's just ridiculous, man. Nobody needed you to be a boogeyman. What a load of shit that
3 years later.
is. What a fucking load of victimhood shit that is. Nobody went, we need a boogeyman. We need an enemy. Let's just choose Eric for some reason. That's just not how it happened, man. You want to talk about ahistorical? Do you think people forgot the last 3 years? I guess some probably have. What does that mean?
It goes well beyond me.
Yeah. Not really,
though.
though.
I appreciate my customers so much.
Well, appreciate them, man. When they start to sparse out the way that they are, like, yeah, you really do appreciate them. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. That's crazy. Is he?
Literally, then he changes the subject. Ethan couldn't even be asked. Like, he honest to God was gonna dig at Eric July. He started to, and then he realized that what Eric July said was, I appreciate my customers. And Ethan was like, you could hear him reversing in his brain, right? Slamming on the brakes, like grinding the gears, trying to stop himself. And the best he could do was like, crazy, man. He couldn't say yeah. He didn't even have the moral fiber to say yeah. Man. And I appreciate my audience too. Man, we just don't give our audiences enough appreciation. Or books, in Ethan's case. But yeah, he had to stop himself on that one. But he was going to dig in his ass over appreciation of customers.
Admitting the Rippaverse is not profitable. He says he's the last one to get paid, and that he's that's right, profitable to him. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
That's not what he's saying. When Eric July says, I'm the last one to get a paycheck, he's not saying that the Rippaverse is not profitable. And that leap and new talking point, of course, came from the chat. He's got some psycho motherfuckers in his chat. Yeah. Back in the day, this is when I first noticed Mr. Dongs. I used to listen to a lot of the live streams, right? I'd be at work and I'd have like one earbud in and I'd be listening to fucking Oz in the background or whatever. So I wasn't reading a whole lot of chats. I just didn't. And the first day I paid attention to a chat. I see this dude in there and it's Mr. Dongs. And he's like controlling the chat and he's controlling the live stream itself by the things he started talking about. And back then, like everybody wanted Mr. Dongs' attention, right? So of course they'd pay attention and then whoever it was would change subject to whatever it was that Mr. Dongs wanted them to talk about. But Ethan lets his chat do this now because they come up with this rabid shit about Eric July. And so Ethan just runs with it. So yes, everybody. The Rippaverse is broke because Eric July put him at the bottom of the to get paid totem pole. It's an incredibly bad leap of logic. Who knows? His the Comics Gate thread sort of died, which was one of the only reasons that Mr. Dongs was still around for a while. Who knows? Maybe he got a real life. Maybe he got a new job. Maybe he found a girlfriend. Maybe he found a boyfriend. Who knows? But yes, Oz Great Sage. Mr. Dongs is gone, like many, many before him. Yes, many chatters, they just disappear into the wind. Oh, what I do have here, I don't know if you guys saw this. Apparently now this is going to be a 96-page book written by Mike Barron with input from everybody in Comicsgate. It started off, you guys, as a sketch by Bosch Fasten on Kings, where he was just doing headshots, I guess. And Ethan decided to turn it into body shots. And it's going to be all the Comicsgate characters. But before that, it's going to be the cover on his next reprint book. It's going to be a variant cover on that warts and all, or whatever fucking collection book he's still got up on Indiegogo. Yeah. You see Heather Swain there, and she cosplay because these guys can only draw one woman. The one up on the one that's like sitting on her head, that is the dude from Godlike, I guess. And of course you have Pigman down in the front. Yay. And I don't know who that is in the back. I have no idea. I don't know. But he's going to add the Alex guy from Inglorious Rex. Not Inglorious Rex, but the Alex guy. He's going to get everybody's permission. He's going to slap this together on a cover. And now that they've got this cover, let's do a crossover book. Let's do a team-up book. We're going to call it the Comics Gate King League or something lame like that, right? They're going to call them Kings because superheroes is taken by DC and Marvel. So we can't call them superhero. Well, that's not true anymore, by the way. You can go ahead and use superhero. It's open. Nobody owns it anymore because calling your superheroes kings, because are they rulers? Are they ruling something? No, they're fighting. They're supposed to be heroes. Knights, maybe. Knights, because they're actually doing the fighting and they're heroes. But kings? This is why you suck at this kind of shit. So I think when I first heard him talking about it, it might be in the next clip. It was going to be like 36 pages. Now it's 96, I guess. I think I heard something insane like that. And they're going to do this book and they're going to hire somebody, probably Dan Lawless or I don't know who, to draw all 96 fucking pages. And occasionally, I guess, somebody may draw some pages with their own character in it. And they're all going to have to agree to this, the story, the art. And then everybody's going to do their own variant cover that's based around their own comic character. It's so great. So they're going to have like 10, maybe 12 variant covers because I have no idea. It's going to be all the Kings, right? That's it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is it the kid from Wonder Island? Or is it going to be Xenotype? He's got to be in there because Liam Gray's the CG King. Liam Gray is a king, and his book deserves to be included in this team-up Comics Gate Kings League book. Yes! So you're going to have at least 12 variant covers, and everybody's going to get paid money based on how many variants of their book they sell. And I'm assuming they're going to get some sort of base rate, but I don't know how they're going to do that if they're paying somebody to draw 96 pages of comic. I don't know, guys. But it must happen because Cyber Frog and that little kid from Wonder Island need to be in the same fucking book. They just need to be. Yes. Or Dino King. Dino King. Yeah. Wow. That was a really good fucking idea. And it just dawned on me that Liam was a CG king. Before we get into the rest of Ethan and Eric July, we're going to talk about Kickstarter. Yes, Kickstarter, people. I don't know if you have heard, but Kickstarter is on strike. Yeah, they're on strike. I mean, you may have heard already because I said so at the beginning of the fucking stream, but in case you didn't hit the beginning, they're striking over there. Yes, Action Network, tell Kickstarter management, meet your workers' demands to end this strike. They want to codify a 32-hour, 4-day work week that has been the reality for the last 3 years. No, they don't want to accidentally be called in for that extra hour without getting OT, right? They want that 4-hour work week guaranteed. Not only that, you need to raise compensation for the lowest paid employees who are often the frontline support. Yes, give them all a raise. They all need a raise, and they all need a 4-day work week. Because their current, did I skip a page here? I may have missed a page in order, but the current 3-year agreement covering 59 community support specialists, trust and safety analysts, marketing professionals, software engineers, and other tech workers expired in July 2025. The KSRU Bargaining Committee has bargained with Kickstarter management since April 2025 to reach a tentative agreement. Negotiations at the table have slowed on compensation and working hours articles. Management has rejected every proposal for a minimum salary and insists on retaining the right to return to a 5-day, 40-hour work week. The current 4-day work week allows flexibility for members, and it's the reason many agreed to join Kickstarter in the first place. Legislation has also been introduced in the New York State Assembly that would establish a 4-day week pilot program. The call for a minimum salary of $85,000 corresponds with what is considered low income in New York City. I mathed, people. I mathed. They want the beginning base pay to be $40 an hour. $40 an hour. Base pay. That's coming in at the lowest rung of the tech support. I'm going to make sure you got your email level. Yeah, $85,000 a year. Only working 4 days a week. Now, this is the Assembly bill, which establishes the New York Smart Work Week pilot program to promote, incentivize, and support the use of a 4-day work week by qualifying employers and to study the benefits and impacts of such work arrangements. Do you know what the benefits are? Yeah, negative tax base is your benefit. The 4-day work week shall mean a situation where employees receive a meaningful reduction in actual work hours without any reduction in overall pay. And back in the day, my dad had an employee who could only work 4 days a week. And the reason she did it was because she commuted practically from the Central Valley into the East Bay every day. Their commute was almost 2 hours in one direction. So they were in their car nearly 3.5 hours a day, right? And so they worked out a deal where she'd come in and she'd work 4 days a week, but instead of working 9 to 5, she worked 8 to 6. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're going to be cutting back your days, you should be working more hours in them. But they don't want to do that. They want the same number of hours, right? And this is what the lady who sponsored the bill called it. As a sponsor of legislation calling for a 4-day work week, because our bodies deserve leisure, our bodies deserve rest, our bodies deserve creativity. We don't deserve to be micromanaged. That's what we are fighting for in my bill, because we need to protect our workforce. The time is here, the time is now to tell management to kick rocks, said Assemblymember Farah Sofront Forrest. Because our bodies need leisure. Yes. Honey, when you're working for somebody and you have a job, it is their right to micromanage your time when you are on the clock. That is what they pay you for. No, you're supposed to micromanage the companies. They're socialists, Snugs. That's the way this all works. Yeah. So they want $85,000 a year. They have been on strike now for 6 days. We'll see how this all turns out, but it's fucking hilarious. It's just so good. Like, it's so entitled, man. Like, they could just fire all of you and replace you with people that'll work from home. Replace you with some company out in India, man. They can get rid of all your asses, except for maybe the guys doing the actual network shit. That's it. The guys taking care of their servers and all of that, those are the only people they need on site. But yeah, that's what I remember. It was just a few years ago that they unionized, right? And I saw this happening from a distance. I knew this was going to happen because it happens every fucking time. Every time. And they're unionized, so they're getting benefits. They're getting full-time benefits probably right now, working 4 days a week. Yeah. My chat will never unionize because I'm a union buster. I will hire scabs for my chat. Not bots, just scabs. So we're going to move on to part 2 of Ethan and Eric July, and then we're going to get out of here. All right.
Indiegogo has been purchased by another company, and this other company is going to change the rules of Indiegogo a little bit. Their terms of service are going to be a little bit more aggressive, and it's a little bit of a worry for people who have late campaigns like myself, and people like Eric July and the Zeros, by the way, are looking at this situation, like Edwin Boyette, Vicky Verse, and they're all talking about maybe they can like get me kicked out of Indiegogo, certain comic skaters. There are a bunch of things, there are a bunch of rules in here that seem like if they are adhered to and enforced, could be devastating for Comicsgate, which is a concern. So let's watch Eric sort of laugh about this.
Crowdfunding has been a wonderful tool for people to get some projects off the ground, make some awesome ideas.
Why is it so quiet?
Because it's an elephant.
I can't. I don't have volume. It
We
sucks.
know that because Indiegogo has that rap of people being able to basically launch almost endlessly campaigns without actually following through with it. Kickstarter is a lot more strict on the ability. I'm not saying there aren't unfulfilled Kickstarters. There absolutely are. But they're a lot more strict on the rules. There where Indiegogo,
It isn't. I'm telling you, it isn't my.
I'm sorry, I had to include this whole audio issue because it's just fucking funny to me.
I think
Low IQ, low volume.
Really aids Kickstarter in.
I can't. I don't know what to do, guys. I don't know how to increase the volume.
I'm gonna read some.
Okay, so I did increase the volume for you. Yeah, what happened was, it happened with the other July clip that Ethan used for this stream, is when Katie recorded it and posted up, the volume's super low. And then he's trying to push it through StreamYards. And instead, I don't know, I never fuck with any of the back settings here on StreamYards, but I assume he could turn up that volume. There's a little volume bar down here, but he has it turned up in YouTube as far as he can. Now his solution would have been to download the actual video and play it on StreamYards using VLC player, so he could have turned the volume up even louder. But no, Ethan's an idiot. So instead, since Katie fucked up the original upload and made it so quiet, his entire chat suffers through him e-fapping these videos they can't hear. And when he realizes they can't hear it, and he says, I don't know what to do, I'm going to turn off the closed captioning so you don't know what he's saying even more. It's the strangest thing. But I turned him up.
Some of the relevant things that make this kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Verification and risk assessment. This is the name of the section. There's a typo in it as well. That said, I want to set the scene by saying some of this was already part of its terms of use. Some of it wasn't, but it's for sure a lot more clear and a lot more, dare I say, direct than what the previous terms of use were on these particular issues. So I'm gonna read this. Indiegogo may decline projects based on internal risk assessment. This assessment may consider, among other factors, your prior performance, is what a typo is, and history of reward delivery, unresolved obligations to backers from delayed or undelivered rewards.
Yeah, that one's a bad one for me. Unresolved obligations to backers from delayed or undelivered rewards. So, I mean, you could say that like all my projects are delayed all the time. The rewards go out eventually, but yeah, there's always going to be something that's delayed, I'm afraid.
We're going to talk about something that was delayed. This is Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet, the line art variants. Now, the line art variants are only line art variant covers. They are not actually black and white interiors, okay? So all he had to do for books going to 388 backers that he made $44,278 from was send them the books. Hold on, it should switch, which was due on March 25th. All he had to do was reprint the books with the covers. March 2025, right? New print file for the cover, resend it to the printer, have the books fucking printed. It could have been done anytime before the books were due in March of 2025. There was nothing new going on here. It was all the same covers in black and white. That was it. And instead, nothing. Not even a fucking update. Nothing. I have no idea if this book fulfilled. I don't know. I know if it did, it was late. And there was no reason for this book to be late. The electronic file, the one he sent to Ritter to be colored. All he had to do was send that to the fucking printer. That was it. And he couldn't fucking do it on time. Oh, there's always a reason for it being delayed. Well, what was the reason for this? What good fucking reason is there for this particular campaign to still be unfulfilled in October? Or at least not updated. The discussion, there's nothing in the discussion about anybody getting their books. Nothing. So yeah, you don't need me to tell Indiegogo you're fucking shit up, bruh. I don't need to agitate with Indiegogo. I don't need to report your ass. They're gonna find you themselves. They're gonna review all of these campaigns. Do you think they're not? They're being taken over by a new company, hiring new people who have jobs where now, instead of just looking a campaign over briefly at the end, they can look at your campaign whenever they fucking want. And by end, I mean when you close the campaign, at the end of the regular opening portion of it. Right? Before, once it went into demand, they didn't look at shit. Nothing. And don't think you can get away with well, now they don't require a fulfillment date. Because I don't think they're going to let you get away with that shit either.
This is real bad right here.
Because here it says direct or indirect connections with individuals or entities previously involved in non-compliant, misleading, or banned campaigns where such association raises reasonable concerns.
Now, for me, like, this would be John Delarose.
If you are one of those people who was non-compliant, misleading, or had a banned campaign, I wonder how JDA still fits into the mix. Banned campaign, kicked off of Indiegogo. I don't know. It might be a little bit of a reach.
Because, I mean, this is the thing, like direct or indirect connections. In other words, I did, when John Delarose was kicked off and banned from Indiegogo, I stood up for him and I wrote to Indiegogo and said, he didn't, could you bring him back? Like, we don't like to see people banned. Boy, I really feel dumb about that now. But yeah, the idea that it's like they could sit there and connect us to each other, if they decided Comicsgate is like a hate group or something like that, they could kick all Comicsgaters off of Indiegogo.
Gosh darn. Wouldn't that just be a shame? Imagine the victimhood campaigns that they would have. Tons of them, all of them trying to lead people to their own websites. Malin, who planned on spending the rest of his comic career doing nothing but crowdfunding on Indiegogo, having to slap together a website with really, really, really bad SEO. Like, this is all this would just be amazing. Trying to funnel people to fund my comic. Just the drop off in revenue. God, it would, Snugs. It would be so delicious. Just so fucking good. I want to see it happen so badly. And here's the thing. None of us have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. Either way, I get to watch some good ass shit. If they stay on IGG, if they get kicked off of IGG, either way, it's going to be a shit show. But man, God, that would just be like the chocolate mousse at the end of a really good meal.
So it's basically saying if you are connected to some individuals
Cecil
who
got banned,
dropped the ball there, they might deny your campaign's existence. There was another bit, I didn't have it ready for the show, but there was another bit where they were talking about, which again, you can make the argument is negative. Definitely because of who they're referring to, and it's a quack organization. Basically saying that, almost policing people's positions outside of the platform, off of the platform. And like saying that it was going to be referencing what like hate, I don't think it was hate speech, literally what they said. It might have been, but they were talking about basically referencing the rules of the or the standards set by the ADL, bro, the Anti-Defamation League, which that's the last
Eric is glowing with glee. He's so excited
so
about
on the
this.
other hand, you look at that, even despite all of what I said, you that you may look okay, we're trying to make Indiegogo a little more reputable of a platform, a more trustworthy platform. Policing people's positions. And like, who gets to determine that? If we're talking about the ADL gets to determine that, yeah, we're in trouble. It's gonna be a lot of people not on that platform, and that can be anybody for that matter. So yeah, not good on that front. But let's continue on. Like I said, I didn't have that ready. Risk assessments may be carried out not only during onboarding, but throughout the entire life cycle of the project. So at any, basically what they're saying, at any time, if the risk assessment is
the Anti-Defamation League,
sole discretion, deny or suspend onboarding at any stage, suspend or terminate an active campaign.
He went through a really bad explanation of what the ADL is. I cut it all out for time because I just felt like this was all getting kind of long. But you know, it was your typical Ethan shit.
If risk,
it's not a good thing that the ADL may have something to do with who gets denied on this platform.
A reasonable suspicion that you are engaged in fraudulent, deceptive, or misleading conduct, you are unlikely to deliver the promise.
Now this is important here, like what Rich Ware is saying, because we know he's a narc bitch. You know, EJ's going to start reporting CG to fulfill his prophecy. Guys, yes, okay.
See, this is where he does it again. He takes some crazy fucking psycho from his chat. He highlights their chat about, you know, I mean, he's primed them all for 3 years to say this kind of shit about Eric July, right? Oh man, Eric July is gonna do it's up there with the I heard that Eric July is paying people. That was just some crazy ass shit from his fucking chat. So now you've got, oh yeah, man, Eric July, you know he's a total bitch, man. He's gonna report you and make sure you. Nobody has to report you. Everything's out there in the open. Your buddy Malin has KKK dudes on the cover on his campaign page. His book, which he's already said, is about how the KKK are the good guys, dude. It's not like you don't need Eric July or Sturgis or anybody else to go out and fucking contact Indiegogo because they got that shit on lock already.
This is gonna happen. This is what Eric does.
It's gonna happen, dudes, because Eric does this shit. Eric, who's been ignoring me for 2.5 years, man, he's totally gonna try to destroy us on Indiegogo.
Eric had a warrant sworn out in private for young Klippa, Riley. You know, they're all going to do.
It's not how warrants work, dude.
Do this to try to take revenge for Trashcast. So what I'm asking you guys to do is a couple of things.
I blame Amit, by the way, Sir Ubisan. I blame Amit.
Now would be a good time to back the campaigns. You know, if you can back the campaigns, that would be great. The other thing that you should be doing is leaving positive messages on the campaigns, because what they're going to do is they're going to have people complaining in the comment section of the campaigns.
You mean your customers? Because people can only comment on the Indiegogo for the campaign if they backed the book. So your customers are going to be complaining that they don't have their fucking book or their car or whatever, their action figure. So your customers will be complaining. What's different from now? They're already all over the comments complaining and demanding refunds.
And then reporting them saying, look at all the complaints that people are leaving on this campaign. These are unaddressed complaints. And a lot of the people, I mean, listen, when somebody asks me for a refund, they get refunded. But I don't always go in there and go, you're refunded. I just kind of refund them, and that's fine. I'm going to have to go in there and go.
You know how many comments are like, this is the third time I've asked for a refund? Dude, I sent you 6 emails. Maybe you could respond and refund my money. He's not responding. You know who he responds to? He responds to the people that super chat him 10, 20 bucks on his live stream saying, dude, I've been trying to get a refund. Or, dude, I have a problem with my order and nobody's getting back to me. Dude, I haven't gotten my book yet. Where's my head sketch? Hey, Ethan, where are the cards for the members of your YouTube channel? Where are the Subscribe Star trading cards? The people have to ask on his live streams, and they have to pay him for the privilege of finding out where their shit is.
Oh, you're refunded. You're refunded. You're refunded now. Because they're going to make hay of all of that stuff. You guys, it would be helpful for a little while if you guys went into all Comicsgate campaigns that you're connected to and that you've backed, and then leave glowing messages in the comments to just counteract the evil that these people are going to do. Can non-backers leave comments? No, they can't. So back the campaigns and get in there and be supportive. If such a thing were to happen, there are all kinds of things. Listen, I got kicked out of DC. I got canceled. I got blacklisted. We managed. We found a new way. We would find a new way here too, but hopefully we don't have to do that. And, you know, I could definitely use you guys, your help. Thank you. And one of the...
He doesn't really need their help. Like, he said on this stream that the YouTube channel takes care of all of his household expenses, as well as pays him enough to go on his little weekly gambling jaunts. So he doesn't, he can go for a while. He thinks that he'll be okay if Indiegogo kicks his ass off, right? It'll be okay. He'll have some time cushion because YouTube's going to take care of all of his bills. The art, apparently, like art sales on eBay is another thing that's paying. I guess maybe that's what's paying for his gambling or maybe even his lawyer bills. But, you know, so if the book sales end up getting shunted around to another site and everything gets put back in time, like the launch of certain things goes back a few months, I think Ethan thinks that he'll be all right. Unfortunately, he's not going to have the same kind of traffic going to his website, going to anything like that. Because just look at Shane, right? Shane got really, he got okay. I think it was kind of almost half and half the first time he launched the 9 Live Comics website. And now after the third, fourth, maybe like third or fourth campaign he's done on that site, he's finally, you know, he's doing better numbers than Indiegogo. But people are still going to Indiegogo. He's still getting he's still getting people through the Indiegogo interface, through their referral program and their front page. So that helps him out a lot. Ethan, unfortunately, that cyberfrog isn't going to show up, excuse me, on a Google search very easily.
Rules is unless they're spamming you, there are certain rules to TOS. I got to examine them, but you're not allowed to just like call those comments spam. You have to answer them, which is I mean, just awful. Like Mandy Summers was just like, they're saying horrible things to me. I can't answer these people. It's just beneath me to answer them.
Hire somebody. Ethan could have an employee, one who's in charge of, say, I don't know, all of his eBay shit, making sure that all of the stuff that he needs for the orders is taken care of. I'm not necessarily talking about the packaging, but I'm just talking about ordinary office work, right? Somebody who takes care of your emails, your correspondence. If you can't be asked to check your Indiegogo comments and take care of your own Indiegogo page like a grown-up human, hire somebody to do it for you. Heck, that's the job you could have given Katie did, but didn't.
And the same thing with me too. So
that's it. That's all I got. What a night. Yeah, my voice is starting to get scratchy. All I want to do is cough, drink some more coffee, maybe have another snack. I think I have something sweet. I'm not sure. I may have passed that up when I was at the grocery store today. It's possible. So, thank you everybody for stopping by. And since you stayed here for a whole hour and 16 minutes, have a red panda. Good night, everybody. See you next week.